In Die with Zero, hedge fund manager and energy trader Bill Perkins argues that experiences and relationships are what give your life meaning. Therefore, you should aim to invest all your money in enriching experiences and relationships before you die. To do this, you must be cognizant of whether your spending and saving habits are facilitating or hindering your living the fullest possible life. Perkins argues that saving money you never intend to spend isn't smart financial planning because it represents missed opportunities. Instead, you should be strategic about spending and saving to maximize your experiences, with the ultimate goal of squeezing every cent's worth of value you can from your life. In this guide, we'll first lay out Perkins' argument for why you should spend all your money before you die. We'll then cover his strategies for balancing, spending, and saving throughout your life so that you die with zero. We'll supplement Perkins' recommendations with other financial advice and alternative views on how to make the most of your wealth. New section: Why you should spend all of your money by the time you die. For Perkins, saving money you'll never spend means sacrificing the value that money could have added to your life. First, we'll discuss Perkins' ideas about why saving for the sake of saving shouldn't be your default financial plan. Then we'll look at what he suggests spending your money on instead, facilitating enriching experiences and advancing the causes and relationships you care about. Saving money might be costing you experiences and relationships. Perkins questions the wisdom of saving as much money as possible for the sake of saving. He advises you to ask yourself whether the money you're saving from your job is worth what you're giving up to save it. This sacrifice might be the hours you could have spent doing something you enjoy more than working, or the money you could have spent on an enriching experience or humane cause. For example, suppose you're working at a high-paying job that allows you to save lots of money but makes you miserable or causes you to miss out on the experiences you'd like to have. In that case, it might be worth considering a different job that pays less but leaves you more time to enjoy yourself. Short-form note: the authors of Your Money or Your Life adopt a similar perspective on money, but ask you to apply it in a different way. Instead of thinking about what you're giving up in life experiences to make money, they ask you to think about what you're giving up in life experiences when you spend money. For instance, ask yourself if the new clothing you want to buy is worth the 4 hours of life energy you gave up to earn the money for it. Both approaches will likely lead you to make choices that result in a more fulfilling life. Another way Perkins suggests thinking about saving is that you want to balance saving money and accruing new experiences so that your savings account doesn't continue to grow while your balances of rich experiences and important relationships stagnate. Short-form note: Perkins recognizes that all of his advice, and his advice on work-life balance in particular, is geared toward readers in a privileged financial position. He concedes that working fewer hours to have more time to enjoy life isn't an option for many people. Indeed, in 2023, over 400,000 Americans work 2 full-time jobs, and 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Still, he might argue that his recommendation on maintaining a balance between living life and saving money can probably apply to anyone. It's just that finding the point of balance will be different depending on how much money you have. Money can facilitate enriching experiences. Perkins notes that balancing saving with experiences is important because as you reach the end of your life, you'll value the experiences you had more than the money you saved. Therefore, leaving money unspent means you forwent potentially fulfilling experiences and a richer life. For example, say you've always dreamed of traveling to Fiji. You could spend the money on the trip and have fond memories to look back on for the rest of your life. Or you could save that money until it's too late in life to fully enjoy traveling. In retrospect, it's unlikely you'd regret taking the trip, but you probably would regret not taking it when you had the time, energy, and money. Short-form note: interviews with people on their deathbeds confirm Perkins' claim that people will value experiences more than money saved. In fact, some of the most common end-of-life regrets are that people spent too much time working and not enough time having meaningful experiences with loved ones. Many people also regret not having taken more risks in life and not having pursued their dreams. Further evidence that you'll probably feel that your life was well lived if you prioritize meaningful experiences over saving. Another reason experiences are excellent long-term investments is that you don't enjoy an experience only while you're having it. You enjoy the memory of the experience forever. As Perkins explains, memories build a richer life because they become more valuable as time passes, particularly as you age and your physical abilities wane. Short-form note. Others agree with Perkins that memories add value to your life and will increase in value as you age. Some even describe trawling through memories as a form of self-care because it allows you to access happier times and counteract negative thoughts. Perkins, however, doesn't address how to ensure memories stay with you in their fullest forms possible so that you can cherish them later. One simple way to do this is to pay more attention when you're having a positive experience. Do this by engaging all your senses. Pay attention to colors, smells, and textures. You can also take mental pictures of a happy occasion, which helps you recall it later. You can also think of investing in positive experiences as investments in yourself, because they make you a more engaging and dynamic person. For example, say you take the trip to Fiji and come home with a new passion for scuba diving. This might lead you to pursue additional diving experiences and form new relationships with people who share your interests. Short-form note. Investing in positive experiences can be an important part of having a growth mindset. When you have a growth mindset, you believe you can improve your skills over time. Having new experiences can be one way you achieve that goal, since, as Perkins points out, new experiences can help you grow and increase your knowledge and talents. Perkins isn't simply encouraging you to spend money for the sake of spending, and he doesn't dismiss the value of less extravagant experiences than a trip to Fiji. There are plenty of low or no-cost experiences to be had no matter where you live, and there are plenty of opportunities to build relationships with people without spending money. For example, church groups form the backbone of many people's social circles, and church events can create lifelong positive memories. Similarly, you can enjoy hiking, yoga, local festivals, and so on. Short-form note. Perkins' argument that you can enjoy meaningful experiences without breaking the bank may not apply to everyone. In Stumbling on Happiness, Daniel Gilbert argues that once you've had a highly enjoyable experience, going to Fiji for instance, other cheaper experiences that previously might have also been highly enjoyable to you, going for a swim in the local pool for example, become less enjoyable. This is because you're now comparing all your previous experiences, swimming at the local pool, to the new experience, Fiji, and find them lacking. So it might even behoove you to avoid highly expensive, highly enjoyable experiences, because they'll reduce your ability to enjoy more mundane experiences. Whatever activity you might enjoy, Perkins simply asks you to examine how your money can help you get the most out of your experience. For example, say you love art. Perkins might encourage you to buy tickets to a prominent art museum or event. Or if you love mountain biking, he might urge you to invest in lessons or the entry fee for a mountain biking race. The memories you take away from these investments will last a lifetime, and chances are they'll make you appreciate your hobbies and interests even more. Short-form note. Perkins' advice to only spend the money that lets you enhance an experience is a good way to counter the effects of lifestyle creep, the tendency for your lifestyle to become more expensive as you increase your income. If, like most people, you earn money over time, you don't have to spend it recklessly on things you think will make you happier, thereby making your lifestyle more expensive. Instead, you can carefully consider what expenditures will allow you to optimally enjoy a favorite activity. So, for instance, if you love baking, you could renovate your entire kitchen, which would contribute to lifestyle creep. Or you could consider what new appliance or tool would be enough for you to enjoy baking more and only invest in that. Money can advance causes and relationships you care about. Refraining from saving money also lets you use it to help others. Perkins explains that most people save money to pass down to their family members, charities, or other organizations they care about in their will. However, he argues that waiting until your death to do this isn't necessarily in anyone's best interest. What's more helpful, he argues, is to give money to others earlier, when they can benefit from it more. Waiting to give away your money until after your death might mean missing the opportunity to put your money to its best use. Therefore, even if you're saving money to give to others, your goal should still be to have no funds left at the end of your life. For example, say you're saving money to give to your adult child in your will. She currently wants to go back to school and make a career change, but has been putting it off to pay for childcare for her children. Perkins would likely argue that you should give your daughter the money now, when she's struggling and a financial boost could be life-changing. If you wait until your death, she's likely to have either figured things out herself or had to make painful sacrifices. Perkins suggests that the optimal time to give money to your kids is when they're between the ages of 26 and 35. At that point, they're likely to still need the money and will hopefully put it to responsible use. Short-form note: Perkins' recommendation to give money to young loved ones when they need it most, not at the end of your life, could be seen as reinforcing the dependence of millennials and Gen Zers on their parents. A study shows that 1 out of 3 millennials and Gen Zers is still financially dependent on their parents. However, millennials are generally viewed as having worse financial prospects than older generations, so perhaps investing in them at an earlier stage of their lives could be seen as leveling the playing field. New section: How to spend all your money by the time you die. Now that we've explored Perkins' argument for why you should spend all of your money by the time you die, we'll look at his advice on how to do so strategically and responsibly. We'll break his recommendations into 3 sections, all of which revolve around proper timing. Spend while you're young, plan your long-term spending trajectory, and spend on the right things at the right time. Spend while you're young. Perkins writes that one good way to die with zero is to spend more money when you're young. If you don't invest in experiences while you're young, you risk missing out on many of the best moments in your life. For Perkins, foregoing experiences when you're young just to save money is illogical. You might not get the chance to have those experiences again, and they won't be the same when you're older. For instance, your 25-year-old self might be thrilled to go skydiving, while your 65-year-old self might not be. Short-form note: It's true that some experiences are best enjoyed and purchased at a young age. Studies show that our bodies begin to decline in strength, endurance, and balance in our 50s. If you wait until then to have experiences that rely on physical health, you might not be able to have them or enjoy them as much as you might have as a younger person. However, you're almost certain to be financially richer later in life, and financial costs that might seem daunting when you're young will at that point likely seem inconsequential compared to the value of an experience. For example, say you've always dreamed of opening a toy store. It might make sense to spend nearly all your money or even borrow money to make it happen while you're young. If the business fails, you'll likely make the money back throughout your career, and you'll be able to say you gave your dreams a chance. If you wait until later in life, your financial risk tolerance or ability to take a financial hit might be too low, or you might not be willing to risk failure. Short-form note: Some people don't have to wait until retirement or old age to become rich. Studies show that the average age of first-time millionaires is only 37. People who work at the cutting edge of technology or have a degree in engineering stand a better chance of becoming millionaires than people in other fields. Such lucky individuals might be able to have rich life experiences at any age, because they have so much wealth that whatever they do incurs little financial risk. However, to succeed as a tech entrepreneur, you probably have to work far more than most people, perhaps even up to 120 hours a week, if you have aspirations to become like Elon Musk, which would eat into your time to have experiences. The other reason you should start spending young is that if you wait until you're deep into retirement, you'll likely run out of time to spend all your money in a meaningful way. Perkins explains that many, if not most Americans, increase their net worth up to and sometimes through their retirement years. At this point, your physical abilities and desire to spend money on many experiences are likely lower than in previous decades. Therefore, you may die with a balance in your bank account. For example, by age 80, you might prefer to stay home and read a good book than to take a road trip to a national park, so the money you could have spent on the trip will sit in your bank account. Short-form note: Some disagree with Perkins' assertion that if you hang on to your money into retirement, and possibly until you die, you'll lose the chance to spend it meaningfully, arguing that leaving a legacy to charity when you pass away is a very meaningful way to spend your money. In your will, you can leave a charitable bequest to an organization of your choice, where the money may well do more good for others than it would if you simply spent it on yourself. Still, a middle approach might be best, so that you don't forego all enjoyable experiences. You might spend on yourself and also set aside an amount to donate to charity when you pass. Plan your long-term spending trajectory. Another way Perkins advises you to spend all your money before you die is to plan how and when you'll spend and save over the long term. While Perkins advises you to not forego valuable experiences in your youth, he doesn't advise you to spend recklessly throughout your entire life. Instead, you should spend the first part of your life saving more than you spend, and the second part of your life spending more than you save. The best way to precisely plan your saving and spending trajectory would be to know exactly when you're going to die and then plan backward so that you'll have spent all your money by then. Since this isn't possible, Perkins suggests making an educated guess about when you'll die, and then planning your spending and savings based on your results. He suggests using the Actuary's Longevity Illustrator, or the Life Expectancy Calculator, to estimate how long you can expect to live and how long your money will need to last. Once you have a rough idea of when you'll likely die, you can determine when it's safe to start spending more than you're saving. For instance, you'll want to start spending more earlier if you think you'll live to 70 than if you expect to live to 95. Short-form note: creating a spending trajectory may seem like a sensible idea in theory, but implementing it might be more complicated. For one thing, there are unforeseeable circumstances, like global pandemics, that can throw a wrench into spending plans. The pandemic not only brought global tourism to a virtual standstill, but it also led to significant job losses. So if you were planning on spending money on travel or accumulating wealth during the pandemic, you may well have found yourself needing to rechart your spending trajectory. And on a more somber note, the pandemic led to a massive loss of life, particularly in the aging population, which may have rendered some people's life expectancy calculations moot. Since we all have different patterns of saving and spending, life expectancies, health challenges, and desired experiences, the precise time to start spending more than you save will be different for each person. So too is the amount of money each of us would need to meet our basic expenses and maintain our standard of living, should we stop bringing in additional funds. Therefore, Perkins devised the Spend Curve app, which can be found on the book's website. This app personalizes his advice to help you figure out how to balance your saving and spending throughout your adult life. Short-form note: another consideration to take into account when determining at what point to spend more than you save is your possible desire to downsize in retirement. Many retirees choose to move to a smaller home to eliminate the hassle and expense of keeping up a large house. However, downsizing can sometimes cost a lot up front. Some homeowners must invest in costly renovations to make their houses marketable, while others might have to rent while they search for their next home. If you're thinking of downsizing, research what you might have to spend up front and use that figure in the Spend Curve app or your own calculations. While everyone's spending trajectory will be different, Perkins adds that for most people, it makes sense to build your net worth up to the age of 45 to 60. By this age, you may have reached your highest yet earnings at work, saved for retirement, acquired assets, and especially by age 60, you won't be too far from being able to collect Social Security and Medicare if you live in the United States. Short-form note: people who are currently under 55 may indeed reach their highest earnings at work and save for retirement in the age frame Perkins mentions, but it may be the case that those people won't enjoy the same Social Security benefits that current middle-aged people do. J.L. Collins argues that by the time the large baby boomer generation has fully retired, there won't be enough money to fund Social Security in the same way for subsequent generations. This means benefits will be smaller and will cost you more. Additionally, any money you've invested up to this point will continue to earn interest and further contribute to your funds as you age. At this point, Perkins suggests you start saving less and spending more to get the most meaning from your earnings before you die. Perkins acknowledges that building your net worth up to age 45 may require making some spending sacrifices, and therefore, you might not get to have all the experiences you'd like during this period. His message is that you shouldn't wait to invest in rich experiences that add meaning to your life, not that you should spend like there's no tomorrow. Balance is key. Short form note: Perkins's views on spending and saving stand in direct contrast to the, perhaps more common, view that the more money you have, the better off you are. People who believe this would likely continue saving past the age of 45, thereby sacrificing many fulfilling life experiences. But what makes such people value money so highly? Some believe that workers who receive performance bonuses develop an unhealthy obsession with accumulating money. Not knowing what the performance bonus will be or how it stacks up against colleagues' bonuses leads people to think about them a lot, which in turn feeds into an unhealthy and unbalanced relationship with money. Spend money on the right things at the right time. The idea that you can't possibly fit all the life experiences you'd like to have into retirement is central to Perkins's argument. Your physical abilities, risk tolerance, and energy levels tend to decline as you age, making certain experiences time-sensitive. Therefore, you should do the things that interest you and spend money on them when you're most physically able to. For example, say you've always dreamed of being an accomplished outdoor rock climber. Chances are you'll perform better and enjoy yourself more if you take up rock climbing earlier in life. You're likely to be physically stronger, better able to recover from injuries, and more accepting of the inevitable discomfort that comes with the sport before you reach an advanced age. Therefore, it makes little sense to wait until retirement to invest your time and money in the sport. Short form note: Perkins writes that you won't be able to derive the most enjoyment from certain activities at retirement age, and this idea could form the foundation for a case for the 4-day workweek. 4-day workweeks, which are increasingly being tested and implemented, give employees more time to enjoy meaningful non-work activities during their career years, rather than waiting until retirement. 4-day workweeks also lead to greater productivity, employee morale, and improved workplace culture, making them a win-win for both employees and employers. The time-sensitive nature of many experiences is why Perkins urges you not to fall into a pattern of saving every cent and thinking you'll get to enjoy your money when you retire. To combat this tendency, Perkins suggests writing down the experiences you want to have and the corresponding time in your life when it makes the most sense to have them. For example, you probably should take up skydiving in your 30s or 40s, rather than waiting until 70, but you can play chess through retirement. Along with the book, Perkins has developed an app called the Time Buckets Toolkit app, which can be accessed on the book's website. This app helps you organize your desired experiences into buckets, or time periods, so you can time when you should invest in them. Short form note: what if you're not sure of the experiences you still want to have in your lifetime? If that's the case for you, perhaps you don't yet have a strong sense of purpose. In The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, Robin Sharma argues that a purpose serves as a guiding light, directing you toward certain experiences and away from others. When you know what your purpose is, whether it be to raise a happy family or write an award-winning book, it will be much easier to pinpoint what experiences you want to have and when it's best to have them. Just as your ability to get the most out of specific experiences can decrease with age, so can the richness of the experiences you share with friends and family. Therefore, Perkins suggests using your money to create experiences for and with others at the right time as well. For example, while kids can certainly enjoy a trip to Disney at any age, parents might choose to take them to the park when they're younger to maximize the magic of the experience. To give you the motivational push you might need to commit to the experiences you want to have, Perkins writes that there will be a last chance for everything in life. Your real last chance is, of course, the day you die, but there will be plenty of last chances along the way. For example, there will be a last time to take growing kids trick-or-treating, a last time your knees can handle a mountain summit, a last time you feel like sitting on an airplane for 14 hours to see a new continent, and so on. Therefore, you must not let last chances pass you by. A more constructive way to view time. The notion of a last chance is a product of a linear view of time. In this linear view, time is seen as moving inexorably forward and having a beginning and an end. A linear view of time is, of course, the most common, and reflective of our actual life experience. We can't go back in time, for instance. However, this view also can lead to unconstructive regrets, perhaps around not sharing experiences with loved ones at the right time, as Perkins counsels you to do. Therefore, it might be healthier to view time as a spiral. Time continues to move forward, but the same opportunities and challenges re-arise cyclically. This gives you the chance to meet those challenges and opportunities differently. So, for instance, you might regret not sharing more meaningful experiences with your daughter when she was growing up. By viewing time as a spiral, you can recognize a new opportunity to engage with your progeny by having more experiences with your grandchild. While it's still wise to consider last chances for certain activities, once you've missed a last chance, it might be healthier to think that the opportunity for that activity will eventually spiral back to you. Consider your risk tolerance and take precautions. Your financial risk tolerance will likely shape your response to Perkins's recommendations on how to spend all your money before you die. Readers with a low risk tolerance might find some of his advice difficult to digest, citing, for example, potential medical complications, damage to property, or a stock market crash as reasons to save instead of spend. Perkins acknowledges the possibility of negative unforeseen circumstances and suggests looking into insurance policies that guard against unforeseen circumstances. This will allow you to invest in experiences while minimizing catastrophic financial risks. Short-form note. In The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel provides additional approaches to minimize your financial risk. If you have investments, limit those investments to only a fraction of your entire savings. That way, if you lose money, you'll still have plenty of savings to draw on. Additionally, have backup sources of funding in case your main source, like income from a job, disappears. This might simply be a savings account that you only tap into in emergencies. For people who are extremely risk-averse, a combination of these and Perkins's approaches might be the best way to spend all your money before you die. For example, if you're worried about crippling debt due to medical complications, you might look into long-term care insurance, which can cover costs not covered by health insurance should you ever need help performing activities of daily living. Alternatively, you might purchase life insurance to protect your loved ones should you die unexpectedly. Perkins also suggests an annuity to guard against the risk of outliving your money. Short-form note. It can be challenging to navigate the world of insurance, so other experts supplement Perkins's recommendations with their own. In The Wealthy Barber, David Chilton recommends only purchasing life insurance if you have dependents, and your living estate, your assets minus your liabilities, wouldn't be enough for your dependents to live on. If you're interested in an annuity, make sure you understand the tax implications. These can often be complex, so it's recommended that you work with an advisor to set it up. Finally, if you're considering long-term care insurance, be aware that companies may deny you benefits for conditions like addiction or injuries sustained during war.